What up, guys, and welcome back to another video. It's your boy J Mansion, of course, and today just want to discuss the puppet master himself, the president of the United States, Donald Trump, because lately he's been pulling those strings kind of hard. He's been tugging on them things. In one of my more recent videos, I mentioned that Donald Trump will choose someone for the next chairman of the Federal Reserve in May 2026, someone who's essentially, they're going to do whatever he says. They're going to be extremely dovish and effectively just be an extension of what Donald Trump believes and what he thinks should happen with monetary policy. Well, I do believe that that's actually going to happen.
We have a stupid person, frankly, at the Fed. He probably won't cut today.
Because Donald Trump has been urging Jay Powell to cut rates for a particular reason, and that's to ease the burden of the deficit, effectively make it less expensive to service the deficit or the debt that the United States has. Because when debt matures and you have to reinvest that, with lower rates, you have an opportunity to reinvest or refinance at lower rates, which effectively decreases the burden on you. But anyway, as you guys know, at the latest meeting, Jay Powell, the Federal Reserve, decided to hold rates where they are, as anticipated. No surprise there.
In support of our goals, today the Federal Open Market Committee decided to leave our policy interest rate unchanged.
And look, I don't think Jay Powell wants to be remembered as the guy who spiked inflation right before the departure of his term or the end of his term. And so I actually wouldn't be surprised if they just hold rates where they are until May 2026, until Jay Powell is completely out of the Fed chair position. And it seems like he's dropping little Easter eggs hinting at that, such as,
For the time being, we are well positioned to wait to learn more about the likely course of the economy before considering any adjustments to our policy stance.
So I definitely think he's just going to continue to disappoint Donald Trump in his expectations or his desires. Now, there have been three options floating around on who the next appointee is for Donald Trump for the Fed chair position. And that's Kevin Warsh, Christopher Waller, and Scott Bessent himself. Now, with Kevin Warsh, he was actually considered during Trump's first term for the Fed chair position. But honestly, I think he would be the antithesis of what Donald Trump is trying to accomplish with the Fed chair. On March 26, 2010, he said this: "The Fed's greatest asset is its institutional credibility. This credibility is essential." He goes on to say central bank independence is precious. Ensuring Fed independence as the cornerstone of institutional credibility is our charge to keep. Oh, that's kind of the last thing Donald Trump wants right now is Fed independence. He wants a Fed chair where he can pull a string and make something happen ASAP. So Kevin Warsh would not be a good option at all in this case. Then you have Scott Bessent, which is the current Treasury Secretary of the US. Now, I'm unsure on this one because, I don't know if, he would probably have to step down most likely as the Secretary of Treasury, right? Which means Kevin Warsh might be moved into his spot if Scott Bessent were to be appointed to the Fed chair. So maybe that's a possibility. I do think the most clear option right now is Christopher Waller. He's a current governor on the board of the Fed, for one, and he wants to cut rates in July.
So I'm all in favor of saying maybe we should start thinking about cutting the policy rate at the next meeting, because we don't want to wait till the job market tanks before we start cutting the policy rate.
And he's super dovish, and you could just tell he would oblige with anything that Mr. President wants. For sure. He got a little thick string on his back, for sure.
But I think we're in a good spot right now for talking about bringing the rate down.
You know, this is a job that's going to be open next year, about whether that's what's happening here.
I'm sure this is something that got the president's attention.
And it works out for him because if something goes wrong, he will have something to fall back on, which is the president's pressure. I guess that's with any Fed chair who comes in next, to be honest. Because 100% he will appoint someone that will listen to him. He will appoint himself if he could.
Maybe I should go to the Fed. Am I allowed to appoint myself, Doug? I don't know. Am I allowed to appoint myself at the Fed? I do a much better job than these people.
So Christopher Waller definitely seems like the number one choice right now. Now, what's going to happen with rates? Well, the market believes there's an 82% chance that the Federal Reserve is going to hold rates where they are at the next meeting in July as well. I fully agree with that. There's only three reasons the Federal Reserve would actually go ahead and cut rates in July. Number one being their preferred inflation gauges fall below 2%. The other one is just to appease the market, which won't happen. And the third is that all tariffs are lifted and just done and over with. Other than that, there's no reason for them to cut because it seems like data is going to be a big constant from here, aside from the upside in inflation potentially from tariffs. In their summary of economic projections, or the SEP, there were 7 dots in the dot plot forecasting that there would be no cuts for the remainder of 2025. I fully agree with that. But of course, we could be wrong, of course. But throw in the fact that we just bombed Iran.
A short time ago, the U.S. military carried out massive precision strikes on the 3 key nuclear facilities in the Iranian regime.
So it's just going to put more pressure to the upside on oil prices, and more people are going to anticipate a surge in oil prices, which means confidence gets lowered. It will only be more reason for Jay Powell to hold rates where they are and pretty much keep them where they are until he leaves office, and leave that to the next Fed chair, which will probably be Christopher Waller.
God, I want to just say we love you, God, and we love our great military. Protect them. God bless the Middle East. God bless Israel, and God bless America. Thank you very much.